in the U.S. south of San Francisco. So that brings the total number of cases in this country to 11. According to health officials, there are more than 17,000 cases worldwide. The Chinese government says the death toll there has now risen to 361, and that is higher than the number of people who died in China from SARS back in 2003. Ramy Inocencio is in Beijing with more on this story. Ramy, I guess the question now is, what's it like for Americans living in China?
Yes, indeed. Good morning, Gail. The U.S. ban on foreign nationals who traveled here to China is now in effect. Beijing is actually blaming Washington for overreacting and for spreading fear. But, you know, more and more countries are joining the United States in this ban. And Washington is saying that it is organizing even more evacuation flights for Americans still stuck in Wuhan. Looking on in shock, this man is asked who's died. He answers, my father, as men in hazmat suits tell him it's over. Outside, several body bags have already been stacked in a van. This widely circulated video that CBS News can't independently verify purportedly shows the situation at a hospital in Wuhan, Hubei province, the epicenter of China's coronavirus outbreak. A grim snapshot of a city still on historic lockdown. American Priscilla Dickey and her daughter Hermione are stuck in Wuhan, desperately waiting for the next flight back to the United States. The longer this goes, what's your biggest fear?
It's scary to think that if I have any problems right now, I would have to go to the hospital. And the hospital right now is someplace I really don't want to be.
Wuhan's government just finished construction on one of two new hospitals for patients built in just 10 days. Officials have even deployed drones with speakers. One warns this woman she should wear a mask and tells her to go home and wash her hands. Despite all efforts, the number of infections keeps rising, with nearly 3,000 new cases reported in the past 24 hours. Over the weekend, a Boston student tested positive. He returned from Wuhan just one day before Logan Airport started screening for the virus. And in the race for a cure, there is some hope coming out of Thailand. Doctors there say that a mix of flu medications and HIV medications is showing, quote, vast improvement for some patients there over 48 hours. So here's hoping. Anthony.
Rush for a vaccine. Ramy Inocencio in Beijing, thank you very much. Dozens of Iowa counties that voted for President Obama in 2012 shifted to President Trump 4 years later. Tony is asking voters in Iowa who they plan to support this time, and he'll take you to the biggest swing county in the state. You're watching CBS This Morning.
The SARS episode has gotten dramatically worse.
Next, right this minute.
It's 7:30. Here's what's happening on CBS This Morning. The Kansas City Chiefs celebrate their first Super Bowl victory in 50 years.
You gotta run!
Just between us, what do you think your odds are?
There's no campaign I'd want to trade places with.
We're in Iowa as Democratic candidates make their final push on...
I want to weigh in on...
It's 7:30. Here's what's happening on CBS This Morning.
On the game last night.
Kansas City Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs pertaining to their victory. Whenever I was out in Kansas City, Missouri, working for a body shop right there by the river, this would have been in 2012, the same year that my father died, because I was actually working for them whenever I got the telephone call that my father had passed away. This was before I wound up going out to Phoenix, Arizona, and working for Bill Luke Chrysler and Dodge out there. There was an individual that worked with us towards being the painter by the name of Shane. Shane was devoutly devoted in supporting the Kansas City Chiefs. And for some reason, I just had that feeling yesterday, before the game ever started, that they was finally going to pull this off, in which they did. They pulled it off towards a victory of 31-20. But as I thought about this last night, I woke up this morning and I realized, wow, that was a very, very devoted group of people that stood in behind their teammates towards pressing on, pressing on, pressing on. I got to thinking that in order for any organization or any team to be a true winner, is that's what it takes to be a winner, is that you have to have a body of people that are willing to come together, that believe in each other, that believe in that particular cause, that are willing to devote undevoted time and energy and love towards that group of people that they had faith in, that was going to pull them through the finish line. The Kansas City Chiefs pulled that off yesterday by defeating the 49ers. And you may be asking, well, that was just kind of a luck of a straw, don't you think? Because it was 50-50. You could have got it or missed it, either or. There's been other prophecies that I have given, that some have been misunderstood and some have just been totally rejected. The fact of the matter is, one must believe in the cause that they are involved in if you're going to pull the rest of the teammates across the finish line. Whenever you look at the Bible, it works on the same level towards pulling the teammates into the finish line. And the finish line has always been for the bride and the bridegroom to come together as a great marriage pertaining to the spiritual world that we're a part of. Christ being the bridegroom, the church being the bride. Until we're willing to see a united cause of people pulling together, we're going to strive, we're going to have hiccups, we're going to have impartial feelings, we're going to have good times and bad times, and we're going to be tossed around because we have not become united. And if you look at Satan's whole purpose, his sole purpose is to keep us divided. He's out to kill, steal, and destroy, but he's also the author of confusion, which confusion is division. I just pray that we as a Christian society will learn this and pull together and put aside our differences, because by me being up in Kansas City, Missouri, up where pretty close to where some of my people was buried pertaining to the Jesse James gang, up in that territory, me being up there and involving my life with that group of people for about 3 months before I decided to go on over to Phoenix, Arizona, puts a bit of a special connection towards me watching the very same group that I knew for a fact of an individual that was so solely devoted in supporting that team puts a bit of gratification in my heart towards seeing that team win. Now, was that the best team? Apparently it was. They won. They won the title. God had enough favor in His children that He put faith in us as a church that we're going to be the winning team. It's time that not only the American Christian society, but the Christian society all over the planet started acting like a winning team. And the only way that we're going to be the winners pertaining to the bride of the bridegroom of Christ is to start acting like we are, in fact, the bride, the bridegroom, the bride of the bridegroom of Christ. That's the only way that we're going to make it through this, regardless whether it be the corona disease or other hiccups that we have been through and watched and been a part of, regardless whether it be the impeachment trial towards them not wanting to allow witnesses to come and make final statements in regard to this trial, which I think turns it into a sham. It turns it into a cover-up. Regardless of what may occur, we as a Christian society have to pull together. Just as of yesterday, before the game started, I was driving around in the neighborhood, and I drove through the little community of Sedonia, where my brother got killed in 1976. And lo and behold, there was one of my rivals, one of my enemies that had stirred up all this strife in my life since I've come back here in 2014. Well, as soon as I passed through the first time, I could tell, oh yeah, there he is. But then whenever I come through the second time, they had already isolated themselves from one area over to another person's house, talking and yik-yakking about the occurrences that had happened in the past. And of course, whenever I come through the third time, they all drawed their heads down towards the ground, not wanting to look at the very person that they was trying to destroy, simply because of me coming back into this area. The God that I serve is a great big God. The God that I serve is greater within me than he that is within the world. And there's going to come a time in people's lives to where the only person that you're going to have that's going to help to pull up your bootstraps and give you a bit of encouragement is going to be yourself. And if you don't have the audacity, if you don't have the courage, if you don't have the to want to support yourself in whatever endeavor that you may be in, odds are there's going to come a time to where you're not going to find other people that's going to support you for you. Just like the passing of my brother David. There was no one that cared about my brother David, though they all acted like that they was his friends. They all had bitter feelings simply because of me coming back here. And those was the very people that was the strife stirrers, stirring up the strife in the community and trying to blame it all on me. Just like the team, the Kansas City Chiefs. You have to stay after whatever that you're after. And once you have proven yourself towards you are a player in the game and not the fame, eventually the fame will come your way. Just like eventually the fame of the Christian society, of the bride towards the bridegroom of Christ will in fact come if we stay strong, if we stay committed, and if we stay united in a common cause. In a common cause of justice, truthfulness, and unity for all. I thank you for allowing for me to speak. 2 thumbs up to the Kansas City Chiefs pertaining to them winning their game. I really enjoyed being up in that part of the territory. I was just up in that part of the territory less than about 3 weeks ago. I had a cousin that died up towards Jefferson City, which is give or take about 2.5, 3 hours from Kansas City, Missouri. While I was up into that area during 2012, I got the opportunity of going down to IHOP Church, and there was another, I think it was some sort of a Baptist seminar college on the other side of Kansas City, Missouri, that once they identified who I was, they immediately got ill and told me that I was not welcome onto their premises, just like the IHOP church community. I had problems out of that organization too as well, just like I've had problems with this organization around here. The only thing that I can do for the people up in the IHOP Community Church up towards Kansas City and the Baptist preaching seminar up in that area is to pray for these people. Pray that they will open their eyes and pray that they will understand that the unity of Christ is much more valuable than the tearing down of Christ in each other. Even though they may not have liked me, even though they may not have known me, even though they may not have understood me, the unity of Christ is worth everything towards the fundamental foundation of the bride of Christ. And without that, we will never see the true bride glory in its achievements that the bridegroom intended for us to glory in. Thank you for allowing for me to speak. Once more, 2 thumbs up to the Kansas City Chiefs, and go get 'em, Chiefs. And Shane, you inspired me with your passion towards wanting to be a good supporter for your team up at Body Works Body Shop, the people that I used to work for. Matter of fact, I gave them a call last night. Carrie and Bill gave them a call congratulating them pertaining to their winning team in their town, in their city. God bless. Good luck to all of us. And once more, shalom. See ya. Here it is. I found it.
Celebrate their first Super Bowl victory in 50 years.
50 years.
Just between us, what do you think your odds are? Explorer, Edge, and even the F1.
Deal on iPhone 11 that'll have you seeing double.
And many, of course, saw that as a political statement, guys, singing Born in the USA, showing the American flag, and reminding Americans that Puerto Ricans are Americans. They are United States citizens.
And very well done. And little Emmy can sing. You should go on YouTube if you haven't already.
Yeah.
She can actually sing.
I love Shakira playing the guitar. That was
Pretty cool. That guitar looked awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, I do love that moment where she sang that part of Bruce Springsteen's song, because Puerto Rico has been through so much.
Yes.
The hurricane and then the earthquakes in recent news, and it hasn't been at the top of many headlines, and so it was good for J-Lo to remind.
I also thought it was nice how she started out on the pole.
Yes.
I'm thinking, could you get me a pole? Is that what it's going to take? Like,
You've been after that pole.
Yes.
You've been looking for some
Yes, I
value
have.
on those.
She looked so good. She and Shakira both.
Shakira was awesome. They were
So
both
great.
amazing.
43rd birthday yesterday for
That's
Shakira.
right. That's right. And did you guys see A-Rod?
Yeah.
He went full fanboy on the field during his... He tweeted this 20-second clip. clip of himself singing and jumping, of course, to J-Lo's song. This is so great. You want somebody in your life like that.
I love that he does that. He supports her 100%, and she him.
That's right.
Nice to see what they have to do.
That's right. There's one person, though, at the Super Bowl who wasn't that impressed. Check out this
guy.
one fan in the stands. We got a picture of this. This guy is out cold. A sports reporter caught him catching some seats during the game. He most likely, of course, paid a lot of money to score a seat. The average price for a Super Bowl ticket is close to $7,000.
Somebody probably gave him the ticket.
I know.
Asleep.
You know what he reminds me of? A dad who goes to watch his kid at a soccer game.
Yes.
He's like, I'm there because I gotta be, but like I'm really tired.
That's not a game that was going to put you to sleep.
He must have been working really hard, but before this day's over, somebody will find him. I'm dying to know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Now that he's going
Apparently
viral
he
like
learned that he went viral.
Yes.
We're going to be doing a lot of digging into that. All right, we're switching gears here.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt wasn't at the British Academy Film Awards to
$7,000 for the average seat, and you're going to spend your $7,000 in sleeping? Wow.
political statement, guys, singing Born in the USA, showing the American flag, and reminding Americans that Puerto Ricans are Americans. They are United.
I knew they had the Latino singing and the Latino type dancing in that Super Bowl last night. A matter of fact, there was one time that I looked at it and said, wow, this should possibly even be rated as a rated R, because of the provocative clothing that they was wearing and how that they was jiggling and joggling and moving around in their show. But all in all, I guess that's part of Hollywood towards putting on that type of wardrobe and putting on that type of a show.
Very powerful and very well done. And little Emmy can sing. You should go on YouTube if you haven't already.
Yeah.
She can actually sing.
I love Shakira playing the guitar. That was
pretty cool. That guitar looked awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, I do love that moment where she sang that part of Bruce Springsteen's song, because Puerto Rico's been through so much.
Yes.
The hurricane
And Puerto Rico has been through so much, because I worked with a guy down in St. Augustine, Florida, working for a dealership down there that was from Puerto Rico. That was an excellent body man, and they got so much passion and so much love for their families, towards their culture and what they support in the American culture. And it was good to see a mix of culture divided displays last night during the Super Bowl that didn't just show the typical American predominant practices that we're used to seeing on the Super Bowl show. But all in all, it was a good show. I'm once more proud for the Kansas City Chiefs team out of Kansas City, Missouri, up where some of my people are originally from, up in that part of the neck of the woods. And once more, good luck to all of us as we strive towards doing that in which what we know is pleasurable in the eyes of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Thank you and shalom.